Recently, someone told me about a new emulator called the Xbox 360 emulator. They also recommended a few games that I should test on my device, and those are the games I'll be trying in this video. Along with that, they also mentioned another emulator called Zendroid Emulator version 0.1. I'm not sure if it's made by the same developer or by a different developer as an updated version, but I'll be making a separate testing video on that emulator next time. For now, we are going to test the Xbox 360 emulator, which is available on the Google Play Store. Let's see how well it performs on my device. In today's video, I'll be testing around 5 games. Some of them are the games that were recommended to me, and I'll also include Street Fighter, since it's one of the games I test on almost every emulator for comparison. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started with today's video. Before we get into the main topic, let me quickly show you the device I'm using for this test. As you can see in the About Phone section, I'm using the OnePlus 10R. The device is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity processor, and all the gameplay and performance you see in this video are being tested on this device. Let's start with Street Fighter X Tekken. This game is also available for the Xbox 360, and as I mentioned earlier, I would be testing a few Street Fighter games as well. From the beginning of the game up to the loading screen, everything works perfectly. The touch controls respond properly, and there are no major issues. However, once you reach the main menu, the problems start to appear. The game becomes very slow and laggy. It feels like it's running at around 10 to 15 FPS, or maybe even lower. The FPS isn't the only issue. When you go to the character selection screen, you'll notice that the characters on the left side are invisible, while the characters on the right side are displayed normally. After selecting your character, the lag becomes even more noticeable. The character selection screen feels extremely sluggish, to the point where you might not even feel like continuing because of how slow it is. Next comes the stage selection. Since this is the training mode, you can choose any stage you want. Surprisingly, during the stage selection screen, the performance becomes much smoother. It almost feels like the game is running at 30 or even 60 FPS. But as soon as you leave the stage selection and return to the character screen, the same problems come back. The left side character is still invisible. The right side character is visible, and the lag is back again. Once everything finishes loading and the actual fight begins, you'll immediately notice heavy lag during gameplay. The left side character is still invisible, just as I mentioned before. There is one interesting thing, though. If you move very close to the character on the right side, the character on the left starts to appear slightly. So, it's not completely missing. It only becomes partially visible when both fighters are very close to each other. The person who recommended this emulator also suggested several games for me to test. I searched for all of them, but unfortunately, I couldn't find most of the games to download. However, I finally managed to find one of the recommended games, and it's called Tenchu Z. Now let me tell you how it performs. When the game starts and the opening scenes or cutscenes are playing, everything runs smoothly and looks really good. But as soon as you reach the main menu or enter the gameplay, the graphics become heavily pixelated. The screen gets so distorted that it's very difficult to see what's actually happening. In terms of performance, though, the gameplay feels surprisingly smooth. It almost feels like the game is running at around 30 FPS. The problem is that even though the performance is decent, the graphics are so broken that you can barely see anything, making the game practically unplayable. Another major issue I noticed while testing this game was overheating. Compared to the other games, this one caused my device to heat up much more, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. Next, I tested Street Fighter 4. Since I was able to find the game, I thought I'd give it a try and see how well it performs on the Xbox 360 emulator. From the very beginning of the game, everything runs incredibly well. The startup, the main menu, the character selection screen, and even the loading screens are all extremely smooth. In fact, the performance during these sections is excellent, with almost no lag at all. But then comes the part one was waiting for, the actual gameplay. I expected that some kind of issue would appear, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as the fight begins and you enter the battle stage, the game starts showing problems. This is where the emulator struggles the most. Take a look at the gameplay on the screen, and you'll be able to see the issue for yourself. I really hope the developers fix these issues in future updates. I'm not sure if they will, but if they do, it would be great. I have high hopes for this emulator, just like I do with GameHub emulator. If the developers can optimize it a little better for devices like mine, it has the potential to become a really good emulator. The reason I'm saying this is because very few emulators are able to run games properly on my device. That's why I genuinely hope this emulator continues to improve with future updates. Next, I tested Forza Horizon, which was also one of the games recommended to me for this emulator. I launched the game using the default settings. I didn't change any emulator settings or apply any custom configurations before testing. The game starts normally. From the startup screen all the way to the game launch, everything works perfectly fine without any major issues. However, the main problem appears during the loading screen. As soon as the loading process is about to finish and the game is supposed to enter the actual gameplay, it gets stuck on the loading screen and stops responding. So, at the moment, I wasn't able to get past the loading screen, which means the game is not playable yet on this emulator. Hopefully, this issue will be fixed in future updates. Next, I tested Forza Motorsport 2. This was another game that was recommended to me. Out of all the suggested titles, I was only able to find 2 or 3 games to download, and this was one of them. So, I downloaded it and started testing it. The game launches normally and runs fine up to the main menu without any major issues. However, after that, another problem appears. The game simply doesn't let me progress any further. No matter what I do, I can't get past that point. Because of this issue, the game isn't playable on my device at the moment. Hopefully, the developers will fix these problems in future updates. Until then, I won't be able to play this game properly on my device. If you've tested this emulator on your own device, let me know in the comments whether you're experiencing the same issue or if the game works better for you. And yes, there's one more thing. The person who recommended this emulator also suggested another emulator. I have already tested the same games on that emulator as well, but I'll share the results in my next video. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a comparison video between this emulator and the new one that was recommended. If enough of you are interested, I'll definitely make a head-to-head comparison. And if any of the developers happen to watch this video, please keep up the great work. I really hope you'll consider fixing the issues shown in this video. Once those problems are resolved, I believe this emulator has a lot of potential. If a good update is released in the future and more games become playable, I'll definitely make another video covering the improvements. Also, if you're using a MediaTek device, let me know in the comments which games are working well for you. Your suggestions will help me decide what games to test in future videos. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, leave a comment. And one last thing, make sure to join my Telegram channel. I drop by there from time to time, and it's a great place to chat with you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Jason wins. Fatality.